Alright people, and welcome back. And if you know anything about the UK right now, Jaden Smith probably said it best.
Can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
But this came up on my timeline, and I can't lie, it needs to be talked about because, just in general, it kind of opposes everyone's freedom of speech.
When the headline begins with a Labour council, you know it's not going to be a great headline. Labour council seeks to imprison street preachers up to 2 years for, quote, causing offence and distress, end quote.
2 years is crazy.
Christians to be criminalised for handing out Bibles, praying for, or laying hands on people. Let's see what else it says. So Rushmore Borough Council, covering Farnborough and Aldershot, has faced accusations of attempting to criminalise Christians for preaching, praying and distributing Bibles in public spaces. The council initially applied for the injunction in February. Oh, so they've been trying it. They've been really trying it, citing complaints about noise, public disruption and distress.
Where is Rushmore Borough Council? It's no disrespect, yeah? No disrespect. That's got to be down south. Rushmore. Oh, there we go. Ooh. 2.3 star rating as a council. Says it all really, doesn't it?
Caused by street preachers under proposed terms, Christians, so I'm getting why is it only citing Christians there, would be banned from praying, individuals without prior consent, handing out religious leaflets and Bibles by hand and laying hands on people in prayer, even with permission, according to the Telegraph. So again, why is this only targeting, I'm guessing the town might be made up of, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, this one. Let's have a look and see what else it says. So after an intervention by the CLC, street preachers represented by the legal group have managed to temporarily halt the attempts. The council also...
Say you can't pray for someone who gives you permission, right? Right. If I'm looking at it from a balanced point of view, if you're walking around just grabbing people praying for them, all right. Yes, don't do that. But if you ask someone, yo, do you want prayer? Yeah, do you want prayer for something? And they go, yes. And then the government says you can't do that. Yo.
postponed a court hearing that would have sealed the injunction's terms. The council is now reportedly rewriting the injunction while seeking greater consultation with local Christians. So I feel like he was trying to get away with this, and then you had a bit of a backlash. I'm guessing the local community probably even backlashed, and then this happened. But I'm seeing it on TikTok lives, I'm seeing it on Instagram lives, I'm seeing it on actual videos of like young preachers getting taken by the police and everything like that. And that's like, something's going on here, something very odd, because I'm not seeing it happen to others. It's really...
Alright, if you're going to make street preaching illegal, the first thing that comes to mind, the first thing is freedom of speech. And it's as simple as that. There's no two perspectives to look at it. Not even just with Christians, with any religion or point of view. If someone wants to express their point of view and you say they can't, that is taking away someone's freedom of speech, no matter what angle they're coming from. As this guy said, it looks like they got quite a lot of backlash.
Good morning, Glenn!
Would the same scrutiny be used in all other circumstances? With other people parading around towns with other religions, handing out their religious book and preaching their religious perspective. Would the same scrutiny be used? I believe it would not. It just wouldn't happen with other religions because a lot of them would kick off. And just other worldviews, a lot of them just would kick off compared to Christians who don't kick off as much.
And that is called gracism.
Which is quite telling, because why would you not use the same brush with everyone and broaden the same brush with everyone? Is it because there's an agenda? Is it because it's actually got power and it's actually the truth? If not, you'd use the same brush with everyone, which is still wrong. You can't stop Muslims from street preaching. Like, you can't do that because that's taking away their freedom of speech. If you're going to do it for one, you need to do it for all. Or just don't do it because, you know, it doesn't make sense. It's wrong. But I think in a lot of this as well, we need to look at ourselves, right? And I'm not a street preacher. I've never done street preaching. I know a couple of people that do. And I've seen, you see your clips on TikTok and you see a couple of people do. And I think a percentage of people do it well and a percentage of people do it very unwell in a broad context of things. I would say it's not done very well. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. So I think we'd need to take a look at ourselves more than anyone and say, are we doing this well? Because quite frankly, if you're just walking around telling everyone they're going to hell, telling everyone they're sinners, telling everyone, do you know what? You're right. You are right. You're not wrong. But do you believe that is going to help? If you put yourselves in the other person's shoes, do you believe that would help? Granted, if you're packaging it differently, if you're spreading the gospel, if you're talking about Jesus' love for people, if you're using the scriptures and also sowing in that we are sinners and the world has got a virus and that virus is sin and the way to get it. Do you know what I mean? Like there's ways and perspectives and ways of packaging it to make it less pointing the finger, which I think it can come across as quite a lot. And not all the time. I'm going to keep caveating because I know a few people who do it and I've seen people that do it really well. Like you see, I've seen a couple times, like the guy was saying on TikTok, on live, on these kind of things, it's people taking preachers away and just police like ushering them away. And sometimes if you're street preaching and there's people around you and you're arguing and all these kind of things and the police come in to usher you away because it's like 1 versus 7, 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, to a point, thank the police. They're probably trying to keep you safe as well as diffusing the situation. So a lot of the time by getting your phone out and filming all this stuff saying I'm being persecuted and pushed away, it's like they're probably just doing the job of trying to keep you safe and try to diffuse a situation. That's one perspective. A second perspective is I think a lot of the times there is an agenda and people just call the police and say this guy's shouting offensive stuff, get him out. And the weird thing about offence, it's so subjective. There's no there is objective offence, but it's so subjective when it comes to this kind of thing. And the gospel is offensive. And it's not persecution if you're breaking the law. So a lot of places, if you're busking or if you're putting up a stand, if you're doing all those kind of things, and most people will know this, I'm sure most people know this, but you need a permit to stand with the mic and speak. And if you don't have that, you're getting told to leave. From my perspective, to a point, that's not persecution. That's them saying you have to leave because if anyone else was doing this as well, they would have to leave because you don't have a permit. And granted, there's places you can go where you don't need permits. But if you're breaking the law, or if you are just shouting at people and being aggressive and being a prick, that's not persecution. That's just you need to check yourself and have a look at what you're doing, or just do a little bit more research on, I need to get a permit here, let's boom. And I think in the broader sense of this, what can we actually do about it? I think we could pray over the government, pray over Parliament, pray over you people who are going out to street preach, because that is 1, very, very brave, 2, very, very scary, and 3, needs to be done very, very well to be received well, in my opinion. So I think we need to pray over all those circumstances. But don't use prayer. I pray people don't use prayer as an excuse to be passive, because I think we can do that. We can definitely do that. If you can speak up for something, you should speak up for something. You shouldn't just pray over something and be like, I said my prayer. Why would I speak up? Because yes, prayer is so, so powerful, but don't be passive with your prayer. Don't be passive with what you can say. And please, please, just don't use prayer as an excuse to be passive, because I think we do that a lot. And it's actually quite cowardly. Speaking to myself as well. I'm not just trying to at people, like I'm speaking to myself in this as well. Let's not use prayer as an excuse to be passive. But I would be interested if you've done street preaching, if you're into street preaching, any of those kind of things, drop a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on the whole situation. And if you're not a Christian, you've come across this actually, and I wonder what you're like, let me know your thoughts on street preaching, all these kind of things. And if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do on these platforms, and I'll catch you in the next one.